Okay, see how I tried to spell thank? Thank. Anyways, all right, segment TH is congruent to segment NK. A is the midpoint of HK, and segment TH and segment NK are perpendicular to segment HK. That's a lot of givens. Prove that angle T is congruent to angle N. Notice it didn't say prove that the triangles were congruent. So we're going to prove they're congruent, and then we're going to go beyond that. We're going to go one step more, and we know what that's called, but don't say it yet. All right, so we're going to still do two-column proofs. We're sticking with that for now. And so when we have two-column proofs, we have our statements and we have our reasons. So we're going to make statements and we're going to say why. And we're going to make a statement and we're going to say why. All right? Number one, let's just start with our first given. That's an easy place to always start, is with the first thing that is given. And we state the reason, and it is given. Then we go to our picture, and once you've stated something, go ahead and mark it on your picture. That's a good practice to have. Okay, next one. A is the midpoint of HK. A is the midpoint of, there we go, I kind of fit it. Given. Now, if one of the givens leads to an additional conclusion, go ahead and do it right then. Don't go to the next given. Just go to the logical conclusion that comes after one of your givens. So A is the midpoint of HK. That's not a dead end. We can keep going with that. We know that when we say something's a midpoint, we automatically go to our picture and we do this. But what are we really saying? When we go to our picture and we add those tick marks, we are saying HA is congruent to KA. And if we're saying that with our markings, we better document it. So anytime that you know that something is true, that two things are congruent, you have to document it in your proof. So I'm going to document the fact that I just put tick marks there. HA is congruent to KA. And what is my reason? This one's not given. What's this one? Of course, definition of midpoint. Awesome. Now we're kind of at a dead end. We don't go any further with that midpoint. So now we're going to go to our next given. We have so much given. Done with you, done with you, done with you. Okay? We're going to write this all in one row. Could you write this in two separate rows? Absolutely. So it's totally up to you how you do this one. TH and NK are perpendicular to HK. So that's given. That's an easy reason. Okay. But now I think to myself, that's not a dead end. There's more that comes. There's consequences to things being perpendicular, right? There's stuff that comes from that. So I think in my mind, what would I add to my picture if someone told me two segments were perpendicular? Well, I would go to my picture, and I know I would do this. Boom, boom. Now I have to document that. I can't mark something without documenting it. Good. So we can say that angle H and angle K are right angles. First, we have to state that they're right. Do not say that they are congruent without saying that they are right first. Definition of perpendicular lines. Okay, now, not everybody knows that just because they're both 90 degrees that they're necessarily congruent. We have to actually state it. It's not assumed. There we go. So in our next statement, we are going to state, hey, angle H is surely congruent to angle K, and that is the right angle congruence theorem. Isn't this fun? Yay, proofs! Aragon's typing all the answers. Okay. Now, we totally have enough evidence to prove these triangles guilty of being congruent. We've collected the right evidence, the correct amount, and the right kind of evidence. So let's say it. This is a long proof, people. Let's say it. You can name it in any order. I'm going to do THA is congruent to triangle NKA. And what is the reason? There you go. You said it at just the right time. You waited for me to ask, and then you said it. No, not yet, Saketh. Don't work ahead. That's no fun. Okay, totally. Side, angle, side. Yep. Now, we always end with the prove. So if you have not made it to the prove yet, your proof is not done. Now that we've said they're congruent, the triangles are congruent, I just barely had enough room here. Now that we've said they're congruent, now we can end with what we were trying to prove. This whole time, we just wanted to know if T was congruent to N, and that was a long process to say that they were. But now we're allowed to say it because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Those angles were not marked, but we're now allowed to say they're congruent because we've proved the triangles congruent. Let me just show these answers just in case they aren't on a recorded lesson yet. Let me just show them, and whoever's watching the lesson can press pause. Okay, press pause if you need to. I'm going to the next slide. If you're watching the recorded lesson, press pause right now. And here's the last one. This was Thursday night's homework. And yours, the 8th graders, looked a little bit different than ours. There were some extra blanks on ours that I need to change for next year. Okay, here is, sorry for the answers being written up with personal handwriting. Here are the answers to Friday's homework. So what I'm going to do is, so you can see it better, I'm going to do this and then I'll just scroll. So check your 1 and your 3 first. Check your 1 and your 3 first. Does your order have to be the same as mine? No. Do your reasons have to be the same as mine? Yes. I'll give you a couple minutes, not a couple minutes, a few seconds actually to check 1 and 3. Okay. Let's check 2 and 4. Can we fit 5 on there? I think we can fit them all. Check 2, 4, 5. It's a pretty short homework. You're going to get page 2 of that today if you haven't already done it, and that one will be pretty short as well. Okay, anything I need to go over?